Today we are checking out the best top safari style header bikini top in black diamond, fitting all 2018 and newer 4-door JL Wranglers. Now, if you enjoy having the top off of your Jeep, especially in the warmer months, but you hate getting blasted by the sun while trying to enjoy that open air driving experience, this is going to be a great solution for you. Now, this will be good for the JL owner who's looking for a bit more of a top compared to a mesh top that's kind of see-through for complete front and rear coverage, and wants a secure and taut construction for not only a secure fit, but also a good looking one. Now, I do want to note that this will require a specific best top header for the install to make sure that it seals in the front, so make sure that you either have one or you can check it out on our site before you pull the trigger on this top, just so you're prepared for the install. Now, a safari style top is a great solution to keeping the top off of your Wrangler without being completely subjected to the elements and staying a bit more protected, especially from the sun that can not only scorch you, but also your interior, and it'll fade it over time if it does get exposed to the sun excessively. Now, it's also great even in the event of a random rain shower to keep everything generally dry, and even though this is not completely weather tight, it will keep your head and your seats pretty much dry in the event of that happening, which is comforting to know when having this installed. Now, it will also use a header, like I mentioned, to seal at the front like a factory top. So unlike some other choices that don't seal at the front or just hook in the front, wind can get under them at higher speeds and cause some flapping. So while this is going to be completely sealed at the front, it's going to eliminate that possibility of that happening. It will also have durable adjustable straps around the side, so you can create a snug fit and adjust them when the fabric stretches in the warmer weather, so you're never left with a saggy top. Now, this is made of a black diamond vinyl material, which is very, very similar to the factory soft top. So it will be tough just like it, being weather resistant and UV resistant to keep you safe and keep the top looking good, even with lots of use. Now, the straps will also have a tough nylon construction. They are going to have thick plastic buckles attached to the top itself, so it's going to make it very easy to adjust, so you're not going to be bothered when you want to swap this in place of your regular top. Super easy and user-friendly to do so. Now, the header required is also no drill. This will have buttons lined at the front, so you can just snap it in place and honestly keep it installed on the top when you do take it off and switch to your normal top, making it very easy when it comes to the construction. This is about $225 and is a great price for what you're getting out of this kit. Now, the header will be roughly $150, so if you don't already have one, just keep that in mind when it comes to your budget. Now, while it's not going to be your most inexpensive option, it's also not going to be your most expensive option. So with the quality of the material and the benefits that you're getting with it when it comes to the full front and rear sun protection, a full seal to the front to avoid any annoying flapping at high speeds, and the adjustability for the good look, it is a great choice if you're specifically looking for those features. This is also going to be completely opaque. It's not going to be translucent like a mesh top that will still allow some of the elements and the sun through. If you want that full coverage, making it a great choice if you want a top that's going to be built to last while also allowing you to enjoy that open air driving experience at the same time. Install will be a super easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and should only take you about 30 minutes or so to get the job done. And once you do it the first time, it's going to be even easier the second time. So at this point, we can head over to our shop, check out a detailed breakdown on how you can set this up and get this installed on your JL at home. So that's going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and jump into the install.
For this install, you will need an impact, a 1/4 to 3/8 adapter if necessary, T25, T40, and T50 Torx bits, a Phillips head bit, 8 and 13 millimeter wrenches, also an extra set of hands to help you with your top if necessary. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be doing a bikini top on our Wrangler. Now, you will need to remove your factory hardtop before you install this, so go ahead and do that with the manufacturer recommended process, and we'll get started. Alrighty, guys, so we've got our header assembly up here, and then we first need to attach our support brackets to that. So we've got our driver and passenger side. Now, the driver side is going to be facing towards the driver's side, passenger side towards the passenger. You want to have your header assembly sitting like so in orientation, so the L part on the back is facing towards you. Now, how we're going to mount this, we're going to flip this up. These brackets are going to come from underneath, and line up with the 4 mounting holes we have here. And for each of those mounting holes, we're going to grab our provided T25 Torx screws, get those in place. And on the other side of them, we're going to add in our 8mm lock nuts. We'll get all of these loosely in place. And once we have these loosely installed, we'll grab our T25 Torx bit on an impact and an 8mm wrench and tighten these down. Now once you have this one on, you can do the same thing for your other bracket. Now we have our bikini top laid out on the table with the top side down. We've got our header at the front where our buttons are. We're gonna get this into our header channel. We'll slide that in like so. And we're gonna button all these buttons down. Alright guys, so now we have our top over to our Jeep, and we've got it top side down draped over the hood of the vehicle with our header up at the roof. I'm gonna flip this over, line this up. This is essentially gonna land where your Freedom panels would be. We're just gonna get that loosely in place for now. So our next step is gonna be to remove our factory screws from our sport bars, from the front seat, rear seat, and down bar. Now from the front seat, we're only gonna be removing this rear screw, so you'll need a T25 Torx bit. Then we can move on to the rear and the down bar. Now at the rear seat, we're gonna be removing this forward Torx screw, as well as this one behind these two little inserts here. So again, T25 Torx bit. Now we can come to our down bar, and we're only going to be removing one of the two screws. It's going to be this upper one. Once again, pop that out. So now for those screws we just removed, we're going to be replacing them with our provided snap button screws. We'll get this started. And we'll tighten this down with our Phillips head bit. Now you can also use a Phillips head screwdriver. And once you have this one in, you want to repeat this process for all the screws you removed, as well as on the other side. All right, so once we have our push button screws in, we can come back to our header and begin installing our bracketry and bolts to hold this in place. So we're first going to grab our main bracket bolt. That's going to have your supplied bolt and washer, the bushing, and the bracket itself. You want that facing up towards where your factory Freedom panel locks in. We're going to go into that threaded insert that is on the bracket we previously installed. We're just going to get these loosely installed for now. Don't want to tighten them just yet, just so the threads catch. Then we'll do the same thing for the other side. Next, we can install our locator bolt. We've got our supplied bolt and washer. It's going to come up through the bottom. You want to position the end of that bracket. And on the top side of that, you'll install your provided lock nut. Then we'll do the same thing for the other side. Now that we have everything in place, we can tighten down our hardware. So first we're going to tighten down our main bolts with our T40 Torx bit. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Once we have those tightened down, we can come in with our 13mm wrench and our T50 Torx bit rather, and tighten these down. So now we can drape our top over our Jeep. Now you want to make sure the main part of this hoop goes underneath of your center bar so that it doesn't get blocked by this, because we do need to wrap this around the center bar. Sometimes it is easier to grab a second set of hands. So now we're going to get our center bar support wrap in place. So we've got the back side pulled tight. You want to make sure this is good and tight. Hold that in place. And we can pull our other section up. Again, this may take a little bit of finessing. Make sure that your center light is fully open. So next we're going to need to install all of our push button tie downs. So we're going to grab our long straps for the rear first. We're going to come through our buckle, bring that up through. Pass it back down. Make sure you're putting these through nice and straight. And what we're going to do is bring our strap around. Now you may need to loosen this up. In order to loosen this, you just want to pull up on the tab while putting tension on the other side. We're going to bring that down to that snap button screw that we installed. Place that on. Now we're not going to put any tension on it just yet. We want to get the rest of our straps installed, and then we'll apply tension evenly. Now one thing you want to make sure of when installing these rear straps is when you wrap around your down bar, you do not trap your seat belt in the process. So make sure it goes behind that. So now we're going to install our side rail straps. Now there's a couple ways you can do this if you want to make sure your button is facing the right way. Honestly, one easy way is to snap your button in and bring it straight up to your buckle. Since we don't have a lot of tension on our top, it's pretty easy to get these situated this way. This is kind of just a foolproof way to make sure your straps are facing the right direction. You can also put them in from the other way. It's no wrong way to do it. Then we'll do the same thing for the rest of our side straps, and then we'll come back and put tension on the whole thing and get it sitting right. Alright guys, so once you have all of your straps on, we're going to start applying tension. Now we're going to start with the rear straps. That's going to pull our top nice and evenly back. So you just want to pull this nice and tight. We'll do the same thing for the other side. And we'll work our way up. Again, you want to work side to side with this because you want the pressure to go across evenly across the top. You don't want any real wrinkles like we have right here right now. And some of these may not be at the quite right angle at first. That's okay. Again, we'll work back and forth on this. Now, one thing to keep in mind with this fabric top, it will relax itself once it's been out in the sun and kind of baked itself in, so you may need to go back and readjust and tighten that up a few times after you've had it out a couple days, especially after a beach weekend. It's definitely going to relax, so just keep that in mind and keep your tension square and just keep an eye on it for a little while and you'll be just fine. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our best top safari style header bikini top in black diamond finish for your 18 to current Jeep Wrangler JL 4-door. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Wrangler, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.